I'm in love with Orania.
Yeah.
Can I stay in here?
You're not Afrikaner.
Section 235 of the South African Constitution acknowledges the right of cultural groups to self-determination. But what about the Afrikaner enclave of Orania, which also uses race to determine who can be allowed to live in that community?
Imagine a pristine town where the streets are immaculate, local businesses thrive, and neighbors greet each other by name. Children play freely in parks, crime rates are negligible, and the community takes pride in its self-sufficiency. Now imagine that this seeming utopia exists with one stark condition. Black South Africans are not permitted to live there. This is Orania, a settlement that raises profound questions about the delicate balance between cultural preservation and social justice in our modern world. A town apart. Nestled in South Africa's Northern Cape province, Orania stands as a controversial experiment in cultural autonomy. Founded in 1991, during the twilight of apartheid, this private settlement of approximately 2,000 residents has evolved into a symbol of both Afrikaner determination and contentious exclusion. While its founders insist they've created a haven for preserving Afrikaner culture, critics see a troubling echo of South Africa's segregated past. The town's physical appearance belies its complicated nature. Neat rows of well-maintained homes line the streets. Small businesses display signs in Afrikaans, and the community center bustles with activity. Yet beneath this picturesque surface lies a complex web of identity politics and historical tension that continues to challenge South Africa's vision of a unified rainbow nation. The architecture of exclusion. Orania operates under a unique system of private ownership that effectively controls residency. The town's management carefully screens potential residents, ensuring they align with the community's cultural and linguistic requirements. This screening process, while legal under South African law, has resulted in a demographically homogeneous population that stands in stark contrast to the country's diverse makeup. The town's infrastructure reflects its commitment to self-reliance. Its own currency, the ora, circulates alongside the South African rand, symbolizing both economic independence and cultural distinctiveness. Local schools conduct all instruction in Afrikaans, and cultural institutions actively work to preserve and promote Afrikaner heritage through museums, festivals, and community events. The question of cultural preservation. Orania's residents passionately defend their right to cultural preservation. They argue that their community serves as a bulwark against the erosion of Afrikaner identity in an increasingly globalized world. Community leaders emphasize that their focus is on maintaining language, traditions, and lifestyle rather than promoting racial superiority. "We're not here to exclude anyone," residents often say. "We're here to preserve our culture, our language, and our way of life. This is about survival, not supremacy." However, this argument faces significant challenges when considered within the broader context of South Africa's history and ongoing struggle for racial reconciliation. Historical context and contemporary tensions. The timing of Orania's establishment, during South Africa's transition from apartheid to democracy, adds layers of complexity to its existence. While the nation moved toward integration under Nelson Mandela's leadership, Orania chose a path of voluntary separation. This decision continues to generate intense debate about the nature of freedom, identity, and belonging in post-apartheid South Africa. The town's monuments and cultural symbols further complicate these tensions. For residents, these markers represent important aspects of their heritage. For many outside observers, particularly Black South Africans, they serve as painful reminders of historical oppression and ongoing inequality, economic success, and social cost. Orania's economic model has garnered attention for its effectiveness. The town boasts nearly full employment, sustainable development practices, and a growing population. Every resident is expected to contribute to the workforce, creating a unique labor dynamic that supporters point to as evidence of their successful approach to community building. However, this success raises uncomfortable questions about privilege and access. While Orania flourishes, many neighboring communities struggle with poverty, unemployment, and inadequate infrastructure. This disparity often follows racial lines, highlighting persistent economic inequalities in post-apartheid South Africa. The next generation. Young Oranians face unique challenges as they navigate their identity in the modern world. While they receive an education steeped in Afrikaner culture and values, they also interact with the broader world through technology and social media. This exposure creates tension between maintaining cultural traditions and engaging with contemporary global society. The younger generation's experience raises important questions about the sustainability of Orania's model. How will these youth reconcile their isolated upbringing with the realities of an interconnected world? Will they choose to maintain the community's strict boundaries, or will they push for greater integration with the broader South African society? Broader implications for society. Orania's existence challenges our understanding of multiculturalism and integration in modern societies. It raises fundamental questions about the limits of cultural autonomy and the responsibilities of citizens in a diverse nation. Can voluntary separation coexist with national unity? Does the right to preserve cultural identity extend to creating exclusively homogeneous communities? The debate surrounding Orania resonates beyond South Africa's borders, touching on universal themes of identity politics, minority rights, and social justice. It serves as a case study for examining how societies can balance competing rights and interests in an increasingly diverse world. Looking forward, as South Africa continues its journey of national development and reconciliation, Orania stands as both a symbol of resistance to change and a challenge to conventional thinking about integration. The town's future will likely depend on its ability to adapt to evolving social attitudes while maintaining its core mission of cultural preservation. What remains clear is that Orania's story is more than just a local curiosity. It represents a complex intersection of history, identity, and justice that continues to provoke important discussions about the nature of community and belonging in our modern world. As societies globally grapple with questions of diversity and integration, Orania serves as both a warning and a question mark, challenging us to think deeply about how we build communities that can preserve cultural heritage without perpetuating historical divisions. The ultimate test for Orania may not be its ability to maintain its current model, but rather its capacity to engage with the changing world around it while addressing the moral implications of its chosen path. As one young resident reflected, we're proud of who we are, but we also know the world is watching. The question isn't just about our survival anymore, it's about what kind of future we want to build. A call for dialogue and understanding. The story of Orania challenges each of us to examine our own beliefs about community, identity, and reconciliation. As global citizens in an increasingly interconnected world, we cannot afford to look away from the complex questions this settlement raises. Whether you find Orania's model troubling or fascinating, its existence demands our attention and thoughtful consideration. Here's what you can do. Educate yourself about South Africa's history, an ongoing journey toward reconciliation. Look beyond headlines to understand the complex factors that shape communities like Orania. Engage in discussions about cultural preservation and integration in your own community. How do we balance group rights with social cohesion? What does true reconciliation look like? Share this story and start conversations about the challenges of building inclusive societies while protecting cultural heritage. Challenge your own assumptions about identity, belonging, and community. Consider how your own community handles questions of integration and cultural preservation. Most importantly, work to build bridges across cultural and social divides in your own environment. Whether through local community initiatives, cross-cultural dialogue, or personal relationships, each of us has the power to contribute to a more understanding and inclusive world. The questions raised by Orania's existence aren't just South African questions, they're human questions. How we answer them will help shape the kind of world we leave for future generations. See you in the next video.